In this episode, we talked to Don Klos, a good colleague of mine who's out of Colorado. They work together to help businesses with SEO, and we're going to be talking about some third-party SEO tools. I can't wait for you to hear this conversation. Let's go. All right, Donald, welcome. It's so great to have you on the show. How are you?
My pleasure, Ricardo. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, man. I wanted to kind of get right into it and talk to us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Of course, my name is Don Klos. What we do is digital marketing. My company is Nuclear Networking. We've been around for about 11 years, and we're out of the Denver area.
Nice. So you're out in Colorado.
Yes.
And how did you actually get to this point of doing digital marketing? I mean, from a marketing perspective, how did you get here?
Well, my career has been in sales mostly since I came out of school, and I'm going to age myself here in 84, graduated college. I went right into sales. Sales marketing was always my background. Actually, how I got into this company and digital side, I was asked to come out here by my daughter. She asked me to move out here. I'm from the East Coast, so I came out with actually no thought in mind. So I did a very long search and came up with these fine company that I'm with right here. So actually, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really want to jump into this market because I didn't believe in it as much.
Right.
But again, they had me come in, saw what they can do, and that's why I'm here.
All right, nice. So it's a great space to be in. So tell us about, we were talking earlier about some third-party SEO tools that we'll be talking about. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about these tools. I mean, what are they? And essentially just sort of how did you find them to use them?
Well, of course, we're in the market. So again, we use a lot of tools, right?
Yes.
SEO, what we do is search engine optimization. Everybody can do it, right? This is something you all have the capabilities of doing. And the reason you can't do it well is because then you won't have any time for yourself, right? So there are a lot of third-party tools out there that can help you. The first thing I'm going to talk about is something called Location Scan. Now, what Location Scan does and what most SEO companies should do for you right off the bat is to build out these Location Scan citations. And what is a citation? It's a directory. So it's like Yelp. It's like Google My Business. There are hundreds of these directories out there. Mm-hmm. Now, do they help you if you get on them? No, not necessarily. You're not doing it actually to get on these for business. Yeah, there are people who are on these other directories, but what you're doing it for is to convince Google that you're doing the right things and that you're a company that should receive these. Right? Mm-hmm. So you could find Location Scan on the App Store. It's just what it says, Location Scan. When you do it and you download it, you'll be able to actually put in your address and your company, and it will scan your site. And it'll show all the directories you're on and if there are any mistakes. Now, what do I mean by mistake? Since there are over 100 of these directories, you may show up somewhere with a address different or a phone number different. Mm-hmm. Some slightly different thing will come out as a mistake. Not good. You want to be consistent across all of these. Everything should be exactly the same. Now, if you go to Location Scan and you click on it, they're going to show you the ones you're on. Like I said, they're going to show you your errors. And they're going to show you the ones that you're not on. And there'll be hundreds. You want to get on as many as possible. Now, you can hit details on Location Scan, but don't hit fix. Because if you hit fix, the third party whose it is, will call you up. Now, I'm not going to mention names, but what you don't want is to rent these. That's what they're going to try to do, is rent them to you. You don't want to do that. You want to build these out yourselves, because if you stop paying rent on them, guess what happens? They all go away and then you won't have anything. So you should build them. It's like watching paint dry. It's long, it's tedious, but it's something you can do. And if you could look at that one, you'll be able to figure it out. We do it as a company for all our clients, and it does help you rank much quicker. So if you didn't do that and try to rank, it would be a much slower process. By doing this, these are basically backlinks, believe it or not. Now Google says, wow, You're doing what you should. So we're going to start ranking it a little bit.
And so, okay, that's awesome. And what was the second tool?
There are two others.
Three of them.
GT Metrics, GTMetrix. This is another free tool. It's a third-party tool. Basically, what you do here is once you go there, you type in your URL, and then they will scan your URL. And what comes up next is a school grade, A through F, right? You want to be in the A and B percentiles. If you have C, D, and F, you have issues, right? So what this site does, it goes over your pixels of your pictures. It goes over your site speed. It goes over everything that is on site in your computer. And why is this important to SEO, right? Well, Google will look at your site first. They're looking at your customer's experience. So if your site is taking 2.3 seconds to load fully and your competition takes 1.5 seconds, guess who's going to get the nod from Google? It doesn't matter what your product costs. They're going to do it because your customer experience is better on that site. So if you have a picture the size of a barn shrunken down, that's going to be a problem for Google. So these are things that should be taken care of. You want to have an A or B. Now, how do you fix them? If you go to that site, you can click on what does this mean? They tell you how to fix it. They'll actually show you the problems and tell you how to fix it. I would suggest having an IT person come in and do it, but if you can do it yourself, that's also, once again, this is another part of what we do is fix these problems before we start. Once again, if you start to do your ranking beforehand, it's not going to rank as well. All right. We got to convince Google you are the company to get ranking first before you actually start ranking. And then finally, there's another one called SpyFu.
SpyFu.
SpyFu, SPYFU. Now, what is that all about? Well, keywords, right? We all know ranking is about keywords, right? You might search for what you do, and whoever's searching for it, you want to show up there and pop. SpyFu allows you to actually go in and see what your competitors are doing. So what you do is you type in a competitor, and it'll show you all the keywords they're using. Now, they're not going to show you the ones that are working and not working, but they will show you all the ones that are using, because all keywords don't work, but it'll give you an idea if you know a company that's beaten you badly, what they're doing online. You can actually go and see that. You can also see what their backlinks are too, by going to SpyFu. And we can go into backlinks later if you want, but those are also important. So this is a good way to key in on your competition, see what they're doing, and try to work those for yourself as well.
Okay, awesome. So it's location scan. And what was the URL for location scan? Is this just
it's not a URL, it's on the App Store. Just look up
App Store. Okay, so it's a mobile app, location scan.
Don't hit fix, only hit details.
No fix, just details. Awesome. And then we've got GT Metrics, GTMetrix.com, right? And then we also have the SpyFu.
Those are the three. SpyFu.com.
Okay, awesome. Now let's kind of dive a little bit more into this, because I was kind of curious about sort of, I mean, who is this? I mean, who are these tools good for? Like, who would you recommend using these tools? Is it to everyone on the web? Like, what's your recommendation around who should be using these third-party tools?
I usually tell people who either they can't afford an agency, right, to do it themselves, because this is everything we do. But if you can't really afford an agency and you're looking for some do-it-yourself stuff, that will help. Now, the things I told you, besides SpyFu, the other two, are they going to help you rank better? Probably not. But it'll get you started. Now you're ready to start ranking, right? So now you're on the citations. Now you got your site running an A+. Now Google sees you as something to send people to. So these are good things to start before you actually do your SEO, right?
Awesome. And then, so how is this? I mean, how are these tools different though from, let's say, other tools that are out there? I mean, we know that there are a plethora of tools that are out there that are considered third-party SEO tools. In your mind, what's the difference between the ones?
Each one does something different. There are so many tools. These are just the ones that we use, that we work with sometimes. So that's why I'm giving you these. But you've got Yoast if you have WordPress, right? That'll help you SEO if you figure it out. So there are many, many tools out there. too much to go over, I'll be honest with you. Some are good, some not so good. Unfortunately, it's a testing period, right? You have to go out and see what actually works and what doesn't.
This podcast is sponsored by MeisterTask, the most intuitive task manager on the web. MeisterTask is an easy-to-use project management tool. Makes it easy and fun and colorful to get all your projects managed in one place. As an entrepreneur, I use MeisterTask to help me manage all of my projects. I can drag and drop different tasks. I can assign key people to the task. I can set deadlines and schedules and enjoy just beautiful colors while I do that. So if you are interested in trying MeisterTask, go to meistertask.com/DMT tools. That's meistertask.com/DMT tools. And you can sign up for a free trial when you upgrade to the Pro plan. So get started for free today and invite your team members and get productive together. Awesome. So let's reiterate, what can users, those who are listening, what can they do with these tools? So let's reiterate that. So starting with SpyFu, this is a tool. You said it was for assessing a competition. So let's talk about these tools again in terms of what can someone do with them specifically.
Sure. So let's start with SpyFu. So say you have a company that you know is killing you in your space and you don't know how they're beating you, right? This is a way to see how they're beating you. So like I said, you would go in there, you put their URL in, they will show you all their keywords that they're using or what they're ranking for. And that's what's driving people to their pages. So now you can see which ones, oh, I haven't been using that one. Let's try to rank for this, right? And then you start ranking for the words they're ranked. It's not, this industry is so unregulated. There's so much you can actually do legally out there. And these are some of the things that you could do, is spying on your competition and finding out what they do. So it's just a way to figure out what they're doing online, because you can't see. This is a way for you to find out what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Okay, awesome. So SpyFu helps you to spy on your competition. And the location scan, talk to us a little more about what are some of the specific things that can happen with that tool.
Right. Like I said before, it's not just SEO words and whatnot. Google looks at your site first and foremost. So the first thing you've got to do is get your home in order, right? You've got to make it so Google wants to send people to your house. If it's a mess, he ain't going to send Google, Google's not sending it to your house. So GT metrics is basically getting your house in order. It'll show you all the issues that are there. And like I said, if you clicked on it, it's going to say, what is this, right? And it'll explain what that is. How do I fix it? It gives you another button. Click. It'll tell you step by step how to fix it. So like I said, IT background would be better because some of these things aren't that easy. But someone with a little bit of an IT background could probably fix it all themselves. And why is that important? Again, you're not ready to rank until your site is up and running perfectly.
Nice. Now, those folks who are listening and they're interested in these tools, what should they need to do to actually use this? These all free tools, or do you have to pay for them?
Some have premiums to them, but for just what I've explained, it's all free. So all you have to do is log in and jump on. They're not going to call you and they're not going to bother you to buy, except for the location scan. If you hit fix, then you'll get hammered with phone calls. So just hit
right. So don't hit fix. Just do your scan and just kind of see where things are at, and then
because we were going to use them as a third party to build our backlinks, not our backlinks, our citations for us, until we found out that they were renting them. So we just used them to show it's a great tool to see what you have and don't have. It's just that we didn't appreciate how they went around building them. That's all.
Great. Awesome. And obviously GT metrics is something that you can use for free as well.
Correct.
and you can also use SpyFu for free also, right?
Correct. Right.
Great. Now this is pretty cool. I mean, I really love this. And I know, so you guys have been in business for a while, and I know you have been into the space for a while as well. And it must not be easy, I'm sure. How have you done it so to date? How have you done it? And what would you say has been the best thing that has happened to you ever since?
Well, you're right. The market is very crowded, right? And I told you, I almost didn't work for these guys because I didn't believe in the industry so much. I was new here trying to build the relationships, right? I didn't want to mess that up. What they did differently, first of all, their background is crazy. It's Homeland Security, IRS, and military contractor IT. I mean, you can't get, I say creepy, you can't get creepier than that. So when we started, or they started 11 years ago, they took the idea of not trying to be everything to everybody, right? So there are a lot of SEO companies out there, do what we do. They build your websites, they write your content, they do your SEO, they try to do everything. It just doesn't work. What we found out early is stay in your lane, as they say, do what you do well, and then find vetted partners. And that's what we do. So we like to say, you want content? You want us sending a 17-year-old intern writing about liposomal glutathione? I don't think so, right? So we look for people who know what your company is about and get those in touch with you instead of just having anybody writing content, right? So again, part of our business plan is working with partners as well as doing direct business. The other thing that why we stand out is, and why we've been in business so long, is we're not just that on-site SEO. We were talking about on-site, right? Which is just your web page. It's, content that you put on it. It's the pixels and things we talked about earlier. About 90% of SEO companies do on-site SEO. So everybody's doing the same thing. How do you differentiate yourself? You don't. Pretty much, right? Because everybody's doing that same thing. That's where we are different. We are big backlink builders. So, and we call it white hat backlink building because there are black hat backlink builders out there. And I'm sure you all had emails from them saying, hey, we'll get you on these 40 pages, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Don't do that because they don't even know what business you're in. And there's tricks to backlinks too. There are good backlinks, there are bad backlinks. So you need to know that you're getting quality backlinks. So what is a backlink quickly? It's juice for Google, right? Basically, it's a link off your site, either to another website, somewhere else that sends it back to you, right? Either as a blog or a link on your site. It has to be something in your space. And it also has to be authoritative, meaning gets a lot of people there, right? With that, Google now says, oh, look at this company. They're on somebody else's site in their industry and they're pushing them back to them. That means good stuff, right? So they think you and raise you up higher. We do that all day long, just build backlinks, backlinks, backlinks. And that's the juice that goes up for Google.
Sweet. I love this. I love this. Don, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with us today?
No. Well, we did come up with one thing.
Yes.
Which is, speaking of backlinks, is we're able to, remember I told you can go into SpyFu, see what everybody's backlinks are, as well as their keywords. Mm-hmm. Well, we were able to, since we only do white hat, we used to get our stuff cannibalized all the time. People would come in, find out what we did, try to figure it out, and try to use it for themselves, just like I told you guys to do. We found a way to mask our backlinks. So if you go on SpyFu and you try to find out the backlinks we build for our clients, you won't be able to see them. We're the only company right now that can actually do that. Google bots still crawl over everything, still give us credit, but your competition and other marketing companies can't use it. They can't find out how we won and try to beat us with our own stuff, because we're able to mask it. So that's one of the few things that we came up with. I told you they're creepy. They're able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I wonder when that secret sauce is rolled out, you know, you're not going to be able to find any backlinks at all. But that's something else, I'm sure.
Oh, it's rolled out already. We're actually using it for our clients right now. We have a client in Westminster, Colorado. We've built 19,000 backlinks for. And we mainly did it for him because people were swiping all our backlinks for that gentleman's company. So
right.
From there, and now it's rolled out. So it's out there.
That sounds like fun. Now, I always kind of is interested in knowing what books are you reading and kind of what podcasts are you listening to. So let's jump.
Well, I'm a big reader, but I'm not so much of a business reader. But
okay, that's fine.
I have read a couple of business books in my time. Tim Ferriss is a fan. I'm a fan of Tim Ferriss. He wrote The 4-Hour Workweek just because I love that idea of not working 40-hour work weeks.
Right.
And it's basically about offshoring most of your stuff, right? Having other people do it so you're able to do more, right? Spend more time doing things that are going to make you more money or doing more things, and then let somebody else do the tedious stuff and get that off your plate. So Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Workweek is one that I like.
Okay. And what about podcasts? What are you listening to? Any specific podcasts?
Not really. I'm not a podcast. I don't jump on podcast either. I'm sorry to say that. Maybe I'm too old school. And that's why I also don't go to Clubhouse because I figured I'd get lost in Clubhouse. It's I would get caught in a room and then I'd be there all day long and waste too much time. I've got too much to do lately to jump into those rooms. I would think running a room in Clubhouse would be awesome. So I might be looking at that.
Okay, nice. Well, now we have a fan. You're now a fan of our podcast, so
yes, I am.
Might change.
Berris fan club.
That might change. Yeah, that might change your perspective on podcast. I know. Listeners might want to know out there essentially any kind of advice you might have for a young entrepreneur or an established business owner. Any kind of tips based on your experience.
Mostly for entrepreneurs is don't forget the marketing part. What I find out is most of these startups and young people or the new businesses, right? They forget marketing. Marketing is a big part of your business. It should be 10% of your revenue should go to marketing, and it doesn't. People don't do it. So they forget about it. It is extremely important. What we do is probably the least expensive way of gaining ground online. And again, we understand our price is not the best. And here's the thing I said for the small businessmen too. They say, well, you guys are a little more expensive than I could afford. I'm going to look at that $300 to $500 range SEO, which is your on-site SEO. What my suggestion to that is find out what the deliverables are, because usually on-site SEO is your meta tags on your back, pixels, and maybe writing a blog once a month. So find out what you expect to get for $300 to $600 a month. Hold them to that. Because that seems to be the problem in our industry is the lower end SEO is not hitting the ROIs. People are getting upset with the process and say it doesn't work. It does work. It just has to be done correctly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you jumping in on this, Don.
I love it. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. And, we'll get you back here some other time in the future to give us some feedback and some updates and some more tools. But really appreciate your time and certainly looking forward to talking to you soon.
Ricardo, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.